So good afternoon and welcome to the Additive Manufacturing Coalition's Forum on Housing and Construction Solutions. My name is Mark Burnham and I am the Director of Policy for the Additive Manufacturing Coalition. I'm joined by my colleagues David Charrington, our Executive Director, and Lisa Rafte, our Director of Outreach. For those of you who are new to our forums, the AM Coalition is a nonprofit trade association designed to educate and advocate to Congress and the federal agencies on behalf of the additive manufacturing community as a whole. Our primary purpose is really to advance both policy, to inform both policymakers and industry about policy opportunities to improve the utilization of AM technologies to improve lives and economic prosperity. We are excited to announce 6 new members have joined the coalition since our last forum. They are, in alphabetical order, AdMan, Axlebox, Big Metal Additive, Form Labs, Impossible Objects, and Nexa 3D. Welcome to the AM Coalition's member community. We're grateful to have you. If you would like to learn more about your organization becoming a member of the AM Coalition, please either reach out to one of our staff or go to our website, www.addmfgcoalition.org. Turning to today's forum, we are excited to bring you a discussion about how 3D printing of houses and other structures is about to revolutionize the construction business. We have an exciting panel today, including construction printer manufacturers Black Buffalo and Cobod, a nonprofit organization using those machines to address the challenges of affordable housing, and a representative of HUD to discuss the views of these developments from the agency's perspective. Today's session is being recorded and will be available on our website in a few days. We ask that you place your questions in the chat, and my colleague Lisa Rafne will call on you to ask your questions on air. Our first speaker is Mr. Peter Cooperman, who is the head of marketing and strategy for Big Sun Holdings Group, the parent company of Black Buffalo 3D. Peter was one of the original members of the Black Buffalo team. Prior to joining, he held several management level positions at companies involved in printing, software, and technology. Through these positions, Cooperman gained over a decade of experience bringing new and existing technologies to global and domestic markets. Peter, welcome to the forum. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for joining. We're very happy to be part of this organization, and I just thought I would start off by doing a quick overview of the landscape of the markets now as far as housing goes and the opportunity for 3D construction that I think is very relevant, whether you're using a Black Buffalo 3D printer, and I hope you are, or a Cobod printer, or anything else, because there's so much opportunity out there right now. And you know, I think the time is now for 3D construction. So if you give me 1 second, I will share out my sound and system. So the point of this presentation is to just cover the state of the housing and construction industries. Hopefully it's not news to anyone on this call. I think there's a reason everyone signed on and they're interested in our new technology. But a recent study and a quote that I found online while I was trying to prepare neutral slides for this presentation kind of blew me away. And it just highlighted that homeownership is really becoming out of reach for way too many people in the US. The price of buying a home has risen 55% in a year. And that's largely in part to increasing mortgage rates, a lack of supply of new and available houses, people escaping from cities and thinking that rural homes are worth a lot more than they were historically. New tax assessments coming out as townships and cities try to recover from what happened in the pandemic and the economy really hurting. And now, even though builders are starting to come out of the woodwork, a lot of them are catering not only to high-end homes and the people that'll pay the most to build, but also investors in the form of conglomerates and development companies that are looking to buy homes simply to just get rental and long-term income. So single ownership has become a real challenge. Another piece of this is that home values keep going up, and I keep checking my paycheck. My boss actually can't make this call, so I could say it. But my real net income seems to still be going down with everything going on today. So it makes it more difficult. You know, I was lucky I got in on home ownership many years ago at the bottom of the market, but right now it's increasingly difficult. And you look at the supply for both sale and rent, and it's very clear that we have a problem. Even before the pandemic, there was a steady decline in availability on the market. The construction just basically shutting down and slowing down in a lot of parts of the country and even worldwide, along with supply chain challenges, have made it very difficult to recover. So even looking at the construction industry as a whole, one of the main reasons we really need to innovate is that it's a massive part of global GDP. 14% of global GDP is owned by the construction industry. It's also 8% of the global workforce, but what that number doesn't show you is that that 8% keeps decreasing because the average age of construction workers keeps going up, and the younger generation, until recently, and I think, you know, Philip can probably speak to this as well, wasn't really interested in joining the construction workforce. So I'll talk about how that's changed a little bit over the last few years. There's also a massive problem with construction waste. Traditional methods of building lead to a lot of garbage, a lot of dump trucks, and a lot of waste materials. And really, that's been the case for 20 years. So checking stats on just construction jobs that were unfilled, there's definitely a demand and a need to build more. But in last January alone, there were 380,000 unfilled jobs in the US. Luckily, there's 3D. So just to give a really quick high-level overview of the history of additive manufacturing, which is really what 3D printing is, because you're adding layer by layer. A man by the name of Charles Hull is largely credited with creating 3D printing. It used to be, I hope you can still hear me. I got a call. But 3D printing used to be out of reach. It was done in a lab. It was very expensive prototyping. It was extremely cool though, because instead of going through a full actual build and a complete manufacturing shift and process, you could do a one-off, almost like the wheel that's in the background there. What's nice is that 3D printing has become mainstream enough now that, you know, I have a 3D printer in my house. Maybe not all my friends do, but all of a sudden it's accessible. There's 3D printers at libraries, and there's different applications outside the lab. People are getting really creative with medical devices and helping with respirators and 3D printing parts that were badly needed but couldn't be obtained. Now you could do one-offs on braces for arms and all different applications. It's not just about toys and souvenirs now. It's becoming a really great industry. And what's amazing is it took around 20 years to get to that level for desktop. Luckily, we're able to leverage that knowledge base and really scale up 3D printing. And with Black Buffalo's Nexcon printers, we also provide the materials. We have a proprietary ink that I'll get into a little bit. We basically take the characteristics of 3D printing to try to alleviate some of the challenges related to creating homes, buildings, and structures. So you can use our printers, our Planetop 3D, and you can decide what kind of shape structure you want with your architects and build what you want with a complete solution. And really, any 3D printer is going to give you a lot of flexibility over traditional building, because all of a sudden you're taking a digital design, you're inputting it into a custom slicer. We're using G-code just like a desktop printer that you might have in your home or local library. And we're allowing you to be creative with design. So some of these samples here are just walls that we printed for different projects, scaled down houses that we printed. And we made sure to put as many curves and intricacies in the design as possible to show exactly what is possible with 3D printing. We also tested the material. There's a standard. Well, I'll get into that in a minute. But basically, there's a universal case no matter who you're dealing with for 3D construction. I want to make that clear. The industry is big enough where everyone can improve. And there's tons of applications for affordable housing, for disaster recovery. Too many homes and, after a natural disaster occurs, people are living in tents when you could drastically improve living conditions by printing really strong structures right on site or near site. There's also applications for precast that we're just starting to get into in the industry, and also modular components. So if you don't want to bring a printer on site, you can have it near site and print different aspects needed for any kind of construction project, whether it be a house or a transportation, or even landscaping and gardenscapes. Tons of potential to eliminate formwork and just print what you need. But maybe the coolest thing and the most accurate thing about traditional versus 3D construction is, number one, it's quicker. It's a heck of a lot more exciting. I don't see too many people sitting outside when someone's framing up a house and watching it. And, we get massive crowds anytime any of our clients are doing even a sample print of a wall. And I know firsthand that they've had big audiences show up while 3D homes are being printed. Also, I talked about the workforce a little bit. We're attracting a younger workforce. Every single day, we're getting unsolicited emails through bb3d.io, blackbuffalo3d.io's website, asking, requesting jobs and if there's opportunities and openings. And we're partnering with universities throughout the world to really ramp up the workforce. And all of a sudden, people that weren't interested in construction realize it's not just construction. It's a robot, it's CAD, it's all kinds of freedom of design. And now they're just extremely interested. And of course, the other benefits are, 30 to 70% reduction in material costs, 50 to 99% in waste, massive reduction in labor costs because you're getting things done quicker with less people. And the build time is drastically improved. And I think when 3D construction started, you might look at several days or multiple days or a week to print a house. Now we're down to a 1,600 square foot house with our printer can be printed in around 30 hours. So just to talk about Black Buffalo a little bit, we are not a developer or builder. We provide complete 3D construction solutions, which involve the printer, training, and materials. And I'm going to fly through this because you can always contact me afterwards if you have questions. Our commercial 3D printer goes up to 3 stories tall. It's a completely modular design, so you can really have an infinite footprint by adding rails on the bottom here. We also have extensions for the X bridge, and everything you need basically comes with our printer, including a silo and pump system. One unique thing to us is that our printers can be rented, financed, or purchased. We did this for many reasons. We knew there was a massive demand for 3D construction printers, but also we recognized that a lot of construction equipment, your cranes, your bulldozers, your excavators, are largely rented. So we wanted to make sure we made the case for 3D printing and 3D construction to be affordable, as strong as possible, and also help our customers budget with their individual projects. So they get the printer for exactly how long they need. Our material is something we worked on. We spent over 10,000 hours on it, 60 plus formulas. We partner with MAPE. We've been going very quietly through lab testing with Intertech and ICC, the International Code Council. They have an AC 509 criteria that involves material and machine and 3D printed wall testing. So basically every single component of a 3D printed project. I just saw a typo in my slide, so it threw me off a little bit. But we've worked extremely hard. We've invested millions of dollars to make sure that we have a consistent product that works across different environmental conditions. And we're making it available through partnership in MAPE. So we really try to bring a complete offering to any of our clients. And just, we have tons of videos on YouTube. I'll drop this in the chat. But I don't want to take too much time away from my colleagues. I'm going to play one very quick video right now, just so I could pop it up. And I don't know if sound will come through. I'm going to stop share for a second. So that you can see it. So this is our, I think I'm not going to share sound just in case, but I'll just talk through it. Can everyone see the screen? So this is our exhibit from the International Builders Show down in Orlando, Florida. Philip, I think I ran into you there as well. But we basically live printed a tiny home with lots of curves in front of the audience. It was around 7.5 hours of print time. We were lucky enough to not only have visitors from a majority of the attendees there, but also the Deputy Secretary of HUD, Adrian Todman, stopped by to check us out and do a tour. And I think it just speaks volumes that unannounced, she showed up to the Builder Show, walked all the way across the parking lot to kind of see what we were doing out there. And we let everyone come up and check out our print actually 15 minutes after it was printed, which speaks to the resiliency of the material and the technology. The last thing I do want to just kind of leave you with is that if you happen to be in the DC area, I do want to give a quick plug here. We are going to be actually displaying our NextCon printer on the National Mall, and I think someone will speak to this a little bit later, but we'll be there June 10th to 12th. If you can't make it there, you can always visit us in Pennsylvania or New York City, where we have our facilities. So thank you very much.